Hey, welcome back to Sober Talk. It is Tuesday, October 20th. You are here because you need to quit drinking. You want to quit drinking. Your spouse is demanding that you quit drinking. Who knows? We had some technical difficulty. This is take two. I figured it out, folks. I figured it out. So how do you know if you got a drinking problem? If it causes problems. And it's real simple. So tonight we have a good show, and we had poor Kevin. Kevin told me this, if you're watching about 10 minutes ago, oh my gosh, wow. He told me this long, lengthy story. He might have even been crying, and no one could hear him because I had the wrong button pushed. So, wow. So we had a rough start. It's as long as we got our core group here, I'm good with that. So, all right, let's do it. Hey, welcome back to Sober Talk. I am Tom Mabe. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, if you want to watch us on a podcast or listen to it on a podcast, there's links in the description. It's sobertalklive.com, your favorite podcast app. You can get it on Stitcher. A lot of people want to listen to it while they drive. I have a YouTube channel too, Sober Talk Live. So there's Bradley's here, Bob's here, Mickey Griggs. Hey, Mickey. Robert Brown, David Edmiston. So yeah, we're giving this a second go. Hey, and if you want to become a supporter of the show, in the description, this is the night of 1,000 mistakes. Guys, let me just do a little bit of the intro. I'm really, really sorry about that. We're getting people here anyway. I'm recording the podcast. So distraught from the other stuff, I forgot to hit record. So here you go. Hey guys, welcome back to Sober Talk. I'm Tom. Maybe you are here because you want to get sober. You need to get sober. Maybe your spouse is telling you, hey, get sober or move out. You're a loser. Kids can't stand you cussing. I'm getting tired of you passing out at the dinner table. Drinking is a serious issue. And if you have a problem, this is a great place to be. And they say, how do you know if you got a problem? If it causes problems. I've been sober for what now? 95 days? That's and I've quit a million times. I've quit so many times. It's a vicious cycle. Things are good. Then all of a sudden, I think I could go. I'm good. I'm cured. I've gone 2 years. I'm good. I can drink. And you always drink until the next rock bottom happens. You have a car wreck. You get a DUI. You yell at your kids. You yell at your wife. It's always going to be a rock bottom unless you fix it. Drinking is just a symptom, man. You got the rid. You're restless, irritable, discontent. Maybe you're OCD. Maybe you're ADD. Whatever. Drink. I've quit 100 times. Quitting, being alcohol free and happy is a whole lot different than being alcohol free. So until you figure out how to become happy without alcohol, which is what I'm doing now, and I'm very excited about it, you're just going to keep on repeating yourself. It's going to be a vicious cycle. So anywho, I am glad you guys are here. This is the third time we started the show tonight because I had a wrong button pushed and then I forgot to hit record for the people who want to listen on the podcast. So let's go right to, we're going to call Kevin back. We're going to have him back on. We called him earlier, but no one could hear him. But let's call Lynn. Lynn.
573-979.
Sorry, this is awful. Lynn, if you're watching, turn your phone on. Sometimes people get scared at the last minute. I don't want to be on. And I get it. It's hard to go and say, hey, I got a drinking problem. I'm trying to quit. And I forgot that.
Tom Mabe.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good. How's that audio feed?
I think it's better. I think we got you. You know what? I was going through Facebook, and I had the webcam on, but I didn't have the Rode Procaster on. So are you in the middle of getting your kids right now? Is that the deal?
No, I'm clear. I got him. He's brushing his teeth. It's bedtime, Tom, at the Green residence.
Oh, good. So we are talking to Ricky Dollar Green, and how are things? Tell the folks how long you've been sober.
Since April 20th, 2006. So I'm like an old man when it comes to being sober, Tom.
I was talking to a buddy today about slip-ups because I joked last night. I had a slip-up. I had some NyQuil.
Yeah.
Have you? And if you had a slip-up, would you even tell anybody? I mean, have you had a slip since 2006 of any kind?
Yeah. My first sobriety date, it was November 29th, 2005, and then I got high in prison on April 19th, and for the first year or so, I told everybody my sobriety date was the 29th of November because I needed, to have a little more time.
G-
So
Gotcha.
yeah,
You
I
need
hid
it.
about that. I
Yeah.
lied about it.
Yeah. I guess no one wants to, 'cause I'm drunk now. To be, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. But no, I was talking to a buddy about that. I said, we're talking about, would it be funny if I just show up with a 12 pack? God, I don't have a problem doing sober talk live drinking. I would never ever do that. And
Well, that's something Tom Mabe would totally do.
yeah, right. No, it's not. It'd be uh, back when I was 28, maybe, but I'm not going
Yeah,
to.
maybe not no more,
It's
huh?
such a sensitive issue, and I was talking to
Yeah.
a nurse today, and she's going to be a guest tomorrow. We're going to do an early show. We're going to do 8 a.m. And I was talking with her about she wants to come on the show. She said, I'm an ER doctor in Tampa, and I see people come in their third or fourth DUI, and not only are they in ICU, they've killed two people. She said,
Oh God.
so it's we never really look at it from that perspective. We never go, whoa, wow, that's interesting. So it's it hurts marriages, it hurts your health, but these people drink and
Yeah.
drive. I've done it.
They didn't set out that day, and they didn't wake up and think, "I'm going to go to bed having killed somebody," for sure.
I'm going to
Did not
drink.
cross their mind. Yeah.
Boy, that's a rock bottom. There's a guy named Mahoney, and what's his name? You may be too young to remember, but this busload of kids were coming back from Kings Island,
I do remember that.
and was
The
it
Carrollton bus crash, is that what it's called?
Carrollton bus crash?
Yeah.
A guy, Mahoney, is like, I forget his first name, and this guy was driving down 71 on the wrong side in his truck, and it just so happened a bus coming back to Louisville, filled with kids coming back from Kings Island. His truck, Mr. Mahoney's truck, rammed into the bus, and it caught fire, and it burned so many people alive. These kids,
Yeah.
I think it was like a
Man.
church group.
Yeah, I remember that. It was terrible. Dude, I was in prison. I met one of my really good buddies now. When I was in prison, I met him, and he was there doing 8 years. He was, I think, 20 when I met him, and he was in prison for 8 years. And it was he was hanging out with his buddy, and they were drinking.
Uh-huh.
And his girlfriend called him, and they, were having like an argument. So he jumps in his car with his buddy, and he's going to his girlfriend's house, and he's pissed. And he wrecked and hit a guardrail, and it killed his friend. He did 8 years for manslaughter for that one bad decision, and he still has to live with that. But 8 years, 19 years old, and 8 years of your life is just gone.
Yeah,
Like, oh my God.
it's really bad. Especially when you have when you're going through the emotional. If you're a normal person and you can drink like a normal person, it's okay to if you could go, hey, we won the game. It's okay to
Yeah.
if you're lucky, you can have a few drinks and it will make you happier. But if you're wired like you and I, if you're depressed in the first place and you're like, your girlfriend breakup or whatever happened to that guy there you was talking about, you said he and his girlfriend were having a fight or whatever, and
Yeah.
you drink, it just heightens the depression and the craziness. It doesn't make it better. It does not make it better. I've gotten in fights with my wife maybe under 5 times my whole life. We don't fight much, but usually because
Yeah.
of drinking. But yeah, if you're depressed or pissed off, man, alcohol just kind of exasperates. It just
Yeah.
exaggerates.
And it's crazy how that used to be. And what used to be the solution to everything, like, began to turn into the very thing that's tearing me apart. The very thing that saved me from everything was what started to destroy me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. They say you drink to deal with the problems, and all of a sudden the drinking becomes a bigger problem than what the problem was of the fight with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
things just get better. People like, was it hard to quit? Yeah, it was hard, but I go to the doctor. He gives me some medicine that helps me out. I'm going to a therapist and whatnot. That's what people do. You can go to, if you need to, go freaking dry out for 7 days. It's no big deal. It's a 7-day detox,
Right.
or however long you got to go. But the quality of life just gets so much better, especially, I've always heard the term dry drunk, and I never really knew what
Yeah.
that meant And tell me what because you're involved in a program quite a bit, and I'm doing the steps now. But what do you tell the folks at home what a dry drunk is?
A dry drunk is essentially when, you wake up and you don't drink every day because you're committed to not drink, but you're outside of that, like that's the end of it, right? Like, so all you are is a person who's walking around with his fist clenched, mad at the world because all you really want to do is take a drink of alcohol, and you can only last like that so long, man. But a dry drunk is essentially someone who's not drinking at the moment, but would give anything if they could drink without consequence.
Right.
As opposed to, as opposed to someone who is, sober and a person in recovery where, there's actually meaning and purpose way beyond what I used to have when it was trying to get another drink, right? Like,
right. Yeah, and sometimes you just got to rip that Band-Aid off and start healing. You got to get in there,
Yep.
open the wound, and get some therapy or whatever. Because you're not drinking because you like it and you're addicted to it. You're drinking because you're self-medicating in a lot of cases.
yeah, that's what you always see. It's what I always see, and that's they say the great obsession of every abnormal drinker is that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his use of alcohol, right? So think about that. Like a normal drinker, you mentioned those people earlier, the normal drinkers, they don't sit and ponder whether or not they have a problem with alcohol. You know what I mean? Like it's not a part of their...
Right. There's a good chance. If you think you have a problem with alcohol, you probably have a problem with alcohol. If someone told you, good, you might want to watch it. Yeah, but you were a little tore up last night, and you weren't tore up the night before. And I knew it. I just wasn't ready to quit. And that, I have I've had a lot of great times, drinking. I don't regret those times, but there's a lot of times that I do regret, and I wish I could literally go back with an eraser. And Larry Mahoney was the guy's name, Timmy Adcock says.
Yep, I was going to say that. I thought it was Larry, but I didn't want to speak wrong.
Yeah. Thanks, Timmy.
That's it.
There's times where I wish I could go back with an eraser and say, oh, I wish I didn't say this. I wish I didn't get drunk and pissed and said this. I bet Larry Mahoney wished he did get drunk and kill a bunch of kids on a school bus coming back from Kings Island. And it's just going to keep on. You're going to, a lot of people don't know what their rock bottom is. You could be, Larry Mahoney was rock bottom with a rock on his chest. We got to get him on the show because I hear that he is doing interviews, and he's
really
part of his service. Yeah, part of the AA, I guess. I would suspect.
Well, that was probably 20 years ago or something, wasn't it? It was a long time.
It might have been 30. It might have been 30 years ago. I mean, he went to prison for a long time. Can you imagine if you were the guy? If I was sitting here right now and someone asked me what my rock bottom was, and I said, I was drunk, I was driving on the wrong side of the highway.
Oh my God!
I ran into a school bus and I killed a bunch of kids. They burned alive actually. And how in the hell do you even? You hear people first. My therapist, Tom. You got to forgive yourself. You all the bad things I said. Tell my wife to get a gun and shoot me in the head or whatever. What?
Yeah.
How do you forgive How do you get over that? If you're Larry Mahoney,
I don't have an answer. I know. I've done some bad and I've been a part of some bad, and the only ways to there was this thing when I was in like first grade where. You came upon this pond and you can't go around it, you can't go over it, you can't go under it. What do you got to do, Tom? You remember that?
No.
Remember what you got to do?
No.
You got to go through it. You got to go through it.
You got to go through it.
And that's the only way. And I can't imagine what that's like and what kind of weight that would be. But in my experience, that's the only way is to go through it and then go through it again and then go through it again. Because 14 years later, I got my friend super high, and he shot himself the next day.
Yeah, because he was depressed.
All
that after effect. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Take out a busload of kids.
Still.
But that's something that I have to. That's still a reality of mine. So, and there is no like end all cure where I just make my mind up that I'm okay with that now. Like it was literally having to go in and therapy and everything, steps, therapy. Mentorship.
Oh yeah, David Edmiston just says I'm reading the comments here. David Edmiston says rock bottom is objective. And that's true. Just because, well, oh, at least I didn't kill a bunch of people, or do you think there's different levels of rock bottoms? It's just everybody has their own rocks, says Bev.
Yeah, I think rock bottom is I think I know what he's saying, and because it's each individual, you get to pick, man. You get to pick when you get off. Like, so and here's the thing. This is a progressive illness, and I say illness on purpose, right? This is a progressive illness. So, right now, let's say there's a person who's drinking, and the consequence is that their daughter's mad at them all the time because she says, "Dad, you drink too much," right? Well, okay.
Been there,
At that point, that can be the motivator that says, you know what, I'm going to stop this because I'm going to do this for her, right? So that was his rock bottom. Well, then he tries it, right? And then the desire comes back again, and he gives in to the desire again, and now he's drunk again, and now he's got his first DUI. He's like, okay, well, this is, you know what, I can't believe I got a DUI. I'm going to stop now.
Then he hears about someone else who has 5 DUIs. Well, I'm not that bad.
And he's not so bad. Yeah. So I think that's what the comment is pointing towards, is that it is like, it's, 1 minute it can be here, but this is a progressive illness. So you're going to keep upping the ante until you're a Larry Mahoney. But God, that's worst case scenario. You know what I mean? But
right. Yeah. And Wow. That's it's a vicious cycle. And that's why when you stop again, when something bad happens.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far, but like there's a book that's written about, alcoholism, and in that they're getting the opinion from the doctor, Dr. William Silkworth. And he puts it like this, is that men and women drink because they like the effect produced by alcohol. While they admit it is injurious, they cannot, after a time, differentiate the true from the false, right? To them, their alcoholic life is the only normal one. After they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, they pass through the well-known stages of a spree, emerging remorseful with a firm resolution not to do it again. And unfortunately, that cycle is repeated over and over.
Oh, it's just, and you got to break it, And we have a lot of people who, do therapy. A lot of people just find religion. A lot of people will become runners. They'll find other routines to get in. And, and I just because I'm doing the steps right now and I'm in AA doesn't mean this show is, we don't care what
all inclusive.
Yeah, we don't care what your religion
Love
is.
it.
Yeah, so that's what the beauty of this is. Just so if you're just tuning in, this is not an AA meeting. It's just this is how me and Ricky are dealing with it. This is how we're, So, but yeah, I talked to guys 10 years sober, 20 years sober, 2 shows ago, and 3 shows ago, and they were neither done AA. They did. I started going to church, getting involved, getting routine, getting structure. And that's my thing too. I gotta have this show, Sober Talk. If I don't do it, I feel off.
You've already doubled down on it, huh?
Yeah, I did the next 2 weeks. Tonight I did the next 2. Jeez, and I looked down, Ricky. I finally got it. I figured out it was wrong, and I wasn't recording it for the podcast. And I've done so many. We have someone crying on the show. It's such a great show. I looked down, I'm like, I'm not recording. I need to. And in Louisville, back home, but down here I don't have my teleprompter with the first word. It says hit record.
Are you still down there?
Yeah,
I'm down there.
Man, I'm doing some
work.
Like,
is that your winter home?
We're down here a lot. I'm down. My daughter and I are down here. My wife and I were down here a couple weeks ago. Come back. I'll go home for a few days. Come back down. I'm getting old, dude.
I was wondering why you changed your setup. I was like, well, I liked his little Sober Talk background. Oh yeah, I get it now.
This is Sober Talk Unplugged. So that's what that is. There's it's just that's we're on location from my place here on the beach. I'll tell you what, even people are in the pool and in the ocean today. It's still nice down here.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's insane, that vicious cycle. And I'm looking back at it, and I can tell you every rock bottom that happened. And I let it wear off.
Unfortunately, they keep changing. They keep getting worse.
And you let your wife forget about it, and then you're out somewhere, and things are cool, and you think, but I couldn't. There's one stint I did like 3 months years ago. I couldn't do it. I could not. No, I gotta. I quit, but I couldn't go to a party or anything and not have a drink. I was like, no, it's such a part of my life. Drinking is a part. No, I remember the first person. A doctor told me at a party, she said, you need to quit drinking. I said, I'm not driving. She said, no, you need to quit forever. You can't drink. You need to quit. I'm like that's
You didn't
crazy
you didn't go
talk.
see her again, did you?
No. She was more of a friend that it was at a party that
Okay.
and I'm like, what are you talking? I couldn't even fathom the idea of quitting drinking. Now
Yeah.
that was probably 25 years ago though, and now someone's I was reading the comments. I look pretty rough today because I started a new antidepressant, so I'm really tired. But I someone commented about how healthier I look, and maybe not the second, but if you look at the first sober talk, if you look at the first
Yeah.
sober talk and this sober talk, it is there's quite a difference. So the benefits, people come, oh, man, my wife now we fighting this and that, blah blah blah. First thing if it's a buddy, first thing I say, just take the alcohol out of the equation. When you quit drinking, everything's going to fall into place, but nothing's going to fall into place while you are, you know, negotiating
Yeah.
life with alcohol.
It's crazy how that works on how like it just radically changed it. I mean, for me, man, Tom, I started at 12. My only life was just getting tore up every day,
And you had to
If it
retrain your
wasn't for,
brain and everything, right?
oh yeah, I had no ambitions outside of just being the man. That was my goal when I grew up. Tom, was just to be the man, the dope man. That was it. That's
Wow.
as far as I dreamed. Yeah.
Speaking of, there's a guy I'm going to call next. I wanted you to hear him. The plan was to call him first and have you comment on the conversation. But Lynn,
Is that Lynn? Your friend Lynn?
that's
Okay.
Lynn. Yeah,
I'm gonna listen when we hang up.
yeah, he's a newbie to the show. He went yesterday. I don't know if he's gone today without drinking, but let me call him now. And
Yeah.
and I want to thank you so much. I want to have you back on. And can you, are you in town next week? Are you in Louisville?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be here.
Cool, man. I'd love for you to swing by the place and see the studio and everything. So,
I'm down. You need an assistant too. We need to work something out. You need some
dude, you're
some help over there.
a busy, successful guy, but I do need to find someone. I'm trying to put it in the budget. My income was cut back 90% since COVID, literally 90%. So
Man, I hear you.
hiring a new person is kind of off limit. But all right, thanks, Dollar. Talk to you
All right,
soon,
I'll
brother.
talk to you.
See you,
All
brother.
right, bye.
Bye. All right, we're going to try to call Lynn again. Lynn, he beeped in, so maybe that means that he was Cape Girardeau. Lynn, if you're listening, we are calling you, brother.
Hello.
Hey, Lynn, Tom Mabe, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Buddy, I'm been 3 months ago. If I had it tonight, I'd be drinking right now. But just a bunch of errors and everything. But we are live now, and boy, I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
saw your technical difficulties there.
Yeah. So, are you in Missouri?
Yeah, I'm on Kimberling City, Missouri. It's right on Table Rock Lake, close to the northwest or
Is that near Cape Girardeau?
southwest. No, I'm on the other side of the state. Now, I lived in Cape Girardeau about 2 years ago, and I moved over here, and then it's right on Table Rock Lake. It's on the western side of the state.
I used to do
By
this.
Branson.
Yeah, Branson. The Mabe started Branson. By the little trivia for you, the Hobnobbers are Mabes. Branson. Yeah, they started the. But anyway, I used to do a comedy club in Cape Girardeau, and the guy it was in a strip mall, and it was like, speaking of a strip mall, he owned the strip mall, but he would pay you, take you out of the comedy club and walk you right to the strip club he owned. And he would get all your money back, try to get you, spending money on the girls and everything. I'm like, God, that's not gonna work on me, dude. I'm married, and I'm tired. I'm going home. I think it was a military town, if I recall. Yeah, Cape Girardeau. So man, have you went? Tell that you went yesterday without drinking?
Yeah, and I'm on day 2 today, and it's not as hard as I thought it'd be. I figure the hard stuff's coming up here soon. So, but I've been doing pretty good.
So this is Lynn from Missouri. He's 2 days in. And what made you decide to stop? What happened?
This way it was affecting my friend and my family, my daughter especially. And it's just, at one point I got so low where my weakness was those little American honey shooters. They still are. They're like the devil. But I'd start off like with a couple. It's like, well, two ain't enough. The next thing I know, I'm drinking a whole sleeve, which is a 10-pack. And then there's times I drink more than that. But I drank like 2 sleeves one night, got really depressed. And back then I was on hydrocodone, and I took a handful of those and tried to kill myself. And, that should have been my deepest part of it. But I got sober. I stayed sober for 2 weeks. The next thing you know, I'm doing it again. And just this time around, the more I'm thinking about it, it's like more and more I'm killing myself. And I ain't even got grandkids yet, and I want to see them. And
my daughter came. on the chair in the recliner in the living room. And she came down. She said, "Dad, I want you to be able to walk me down the aisle because I'm a great dad. I was
Yeah.
just a drunk. You know, I would
Yeah.
drink, nightly, and for years, and it will probably catch up with me one day. You never know how this is going to work out. Uh, but so you have grandkids. You're day two. How is this time going to be different from any other time that you quit?
I I guess I've got more ambition, but everybody always says that, and I don't know. I've got too much to lose, and before I never really considered that. 'Cause I saw a thing on the private group today with a tattoo a lady got, and it said, "Addiction is a family disease. If one person has it, the whole
I saw
family
that.
suffers," and that
Yeah.
is so true. That is so true.
Well,
And
I would.
I'm going to beat it.
Yeah, you just maybe add something to the mix. Maybe ask your doctor. Say, I've quit before. It doesn't stick. Is there some medication? Is there, get involved in, some kind of program. Be a therapist. If you have insurance, try to go to some kind of behavioral health therapy. The I love the Zoom meetings. You can go to a Zoom meeting anywhere in the world and turn your camera off. And
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
yeah, Google Zoom AA, and it holds you account. I got the Zoom group I do in the morning at 7 a.m. called the Early Worms out of Louisville, and I never have the video on. I just listen, and I've been doing that for about 60 days, and then I do sober talk, and you just need some kind of structure, and you got to figure out why you're drinking in the first place. Because you finally figured out, okay, I'm not drinking because I like it and because it's a mood altering thing. You want to change your mood, and that's why you're drinking, brother. So until you figure out why you're unhappy when you're sober, so definitely find a way and try a way. I tried AA for years and I hated it. I never found the right meeting. This time around, it's
Yeah.
different. I'm actually working the steps. I got a sponsor. I got someone telling me, explaining to me why this is like that. I have a therapist, one of the best therapists, Jane Gaynor in Louisville. An addiction specialist, and she's phenomenal. Uh, but you can't.
I,
It's just going to get repetitive and stupid if you don't change. You need more than
yeah,
willpower.
mine's like basically based around depression, and I know that, and I got to get that fixed.
Yeah, you're self-medicating.
Yeah. I got so low. I used to work at a convenience store. I was stealing alcohol from there, just even drinking on the job. I got so low and I didn't care. And I thought, that was going to be okay. But you think stupid stuff when you're that deep down.
So, did they ever catch you still in the alcohol from
No,
the convenience store?
no.
And you,
I think once I sober up, I'm going to face up to that.
yeah, and when you make your amends, let's see, is Daryl Hansen says, alcohol does not bother me. I mean, if I have a bad day, damn, I want to drink. I say, how can I fix the situation I'm in? Carl Martin says, antidepressants truly caused me to double up on the amount of alcohol that I was drinking to be able to feel the high. Well, yeah, so that's the thing. Antidepressants usually don't work if you're drinking. So this is the first time I'm really, I had some side effects of one of my antidepressants, so they changed it, and that's why I'm kind of lax days right now. Um, so this is Adam Trevette says, okay, this might not be for me. Just hearing the trigger words kind of make me want to drink. Wow. So this is Adam is at a point right now where he's watching the show and he's and just hearing, and that's how it was with me initially with AA. I when I left, I wanted to drink. It was awful. So it was, but yeah, because I kept on going to the same meeting, same building, same place, and I never liked the meeting. I didn't realize every church in America has an AA meeting. There's actually an app called the Empty Chair, and and it will tell you, it will lock into your GPS, and like right now, right now I could launch this app on my phone, and it will tell me every meeting when it's starting in Hilton Head right now. And I haven't done it because of COVID, but you can always find a meeting. But man, I would definitely, Lynn, I would try a Zoom meeting. I just don't, I haven't, if you're anything like me, you got to have help quitting this time. Have you quit more
I
before?
Yeah, I quit. about 8 months, probably 3 years ago. And then I went to a barbecue, and I was like, well, I'll have a beer. Well, beer turned into 12, and 12 turned into a bottle of hot damn, and it was downhill from there again.
Now, you say you have a girlfriend or a wife?
No, I got a friend.
You got a friend, gotcha. Okay. So your friend, your better half, are they upset with your alcohol intake?
No, it's family. My friend and I are working together to get me healed, get it healed.
Gotcha. But your family, have they reached out to you, your kids, and say, what do you know?
Yeah, my daughter especially, and then she's with me too on this, so we're gonna get it fixed and stuff. I've been getting a lot of help on the private site, and I've found a few friends on there I've been talking to. And that's
Oh man, get with Carl or a Bev or any of those Natalie. There's people who can in that private group. They've all been through it. They've all probably spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on therapy and rehab. They can definitely guide you, but you have to make it a routine. Come to Sober Talk and hear people's shares and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
well, man, I have high hopes for you. I hope it works, and I love to check in with you. What was your rock bottom wasn't that crazy bad?
Nah, but it was just enough to make me wake up. It's just you get back and you reflect on all the stupid stuff you did and who you hurt, and how stupid you act when you're that hammered, and it's embarrassing. I don't know if embarrassment's going to be it, but I don't want to hurt anybody anymore. I don't want to let anybody down, disappoint anybody anymore.
Man, I never did myself any favors drinking, and
No.
I don't need any help looking like an idiot. Trust me. And I would drink, and it would just get, people would not want me to come around when it became an issue. It became a real issue, and I don't need any help being an idiot, that's for sure. So, well, man, Lynn, I want to try to call our first Kevin back. I'm going to try to call him back, and
All right, Tom.
and anything else you want to wrap up with or anything?
No, just if something comes to mind or something. Like I said, I got my friends on the private chat. And, I'll get a hold of them, and I can get a hold of you and go from there.
Definitely. Text me, email me, whatever. But you have to, man, and check out. Again, we're a bipartisan place here. We don't, everyone different strokes for different folks. But the one,
Well, tell you the truth, I got more of the past 2 days than I had like a week's worth of classes online on how to sober up stuff. So it's actually helping to talk to people.
Yeah, well, no, and I think sometimes you have a live breathing human that you could talk with, or even just on the chat or whatever. You're going to make a lot of good friends here, and people are going to, they're going to help you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and thank you for your show.
No, Lynn, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Call Gary Adams.
Calling Gary Adams, Sober Talk.
I just saw Gary on the thing here, and it made me think of something.
Hello?
Gary?
Hey, what's going on, Tom?
Oh, I'm just sitting here. I just talked to Lynn. He's day 2, and by the way, you're live. If it's not a good time, you can just hang up. I'll continue to talk. But Lynn is day 2, and he's getting a lot from the private group here, man. People have to sign up in that private group. There's a lot of smart people, a lot of smart sober people in there. So how are you doing, brother?
Oh, pretty good. Long day. Put in about 10 and a half, close to 11 hours today.
So we were talking earlier, and last night I was joking about slipping up. Hey guys, I had a slip, and I saw how you slipped. You didn't fall though, and a slip up would be, went out and had a couple beers or something, and I was joking that I had NyQuil or DayQuil or something. And then my son Googled. He said, "Dad, you're okay? DayQuil doesn't have alcohol in it." I said, "Well, good, buddy. That's good." Have you slipped? Have you in recent years or recent months? Have you ever snuck and just? Do you know people who slip and they don't tell? They just lie about it, or they're afraid to let people down?
Well, me personally, I have not. I have not slipped up
since my sober date of June 18th, 2018. I have not slipped. Um, a slip for me is going to go into a full blown run, probably.
You would, yeah, you would know if I slipped. It would be on the news. I mean, I'll probably get a DUI and run over something. But
No, I not at the time. I've known some people that were in recovery that had slipped up, and at the time they weren't telling anybody, but eventually it comes to light. We call it rocking a fake sobriety date. And I've known a few guys that have done that, and it's hard to be around a room full of recovering addicts and alcoholics and fake it, because we know what it looks like.
yeah, no, and I've lied to my buddies who try to get me. Yeah, no, yeah, I think it's too much now, or something. Back, people worried about me or whatever, but geez, I was going through my phone today just looking for pictures to post of the beach when it was sunnier on Facebook, and I saw these pictures of me, just a couple months ago, and my head looked like a giant, beach ball, just that what Bev calls the booze bloat. That's amazing. That's just an amazing thing. So, well, man, I won't keep. I just saw that you were online, and you always have a. I know you're gonna make. I know you got some cool things coming up, and I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for you and I to get together. And you said you got some paper for me. When I get back in town, let's sit down and go over some steps and stuff. 'Cause I got to get a little more aggressive with the steps because I know and I gotta knock out 4 and 5. When you do when you do the 4 and then the 5th step, does it have to be to a stranger, or can you just do it to like an Uber driver or something? How does that work? I'm stuck.
Well, generally on your step work, like Donnie was saying last night, that's the sponsor's guide, or the job is to guide you through the 12 steps and to kind of get you through, and I've read on some literature, that if there's something that you're not comfortable with telling your sponsor, that they suggest maybe, like someone in the church or something like that, with the 5th step, it's with actually getting down to brass tacks with your sponsor, discussing the 4th step and speaking about all the things and the resentments and the harms and stuff that have occurred in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It can be terrifying, but really, honestly, it's not as bad as what it seems to be. Confronting it and into the unknown.
Right.
It took me quite a while to drop my 5th step. It took me a long time. It took about 3 hours, over 3 hours, actually.
No, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It's pretty liberating, though, and in hindsight, it wasn't. It's nothing to actually, to be afraid of or anything. It's actually it's pretty uplifting. And also kind of piggybacking off what Donnie has said, that's when you begin that spiritual awakening, and you come out of it with a weight lifted off of you. It's fairly draining because you're dredging up a lot of stuff, but you're sitting there telling your sponsor, easy. There are things that I told my sponsor that I thought I'd take to the grave with me.
Wow. Wow.
And he didn't even bat an eye.
I want to do my 5th. I want to do my 5th step on live on Sober Talk.
Oh boy!
Hey, real quick. So this is Darren Hansen says Daryl. I can't. Darjack can't. Daryl. I'm sorry. It's Daryl. Alcoholics can read through BS. We are the best BSers ever. That's funny.
Exactly. I had a roommate, and when I went through rehab, who I'm his sponsor now. And he says you can't baloney the baloney makers.
Yeah, I love that. It's like an old timer who got up from an old timer. Adam Trevette says, "I've mentioned this before. What is a slip? Can I drink a beer at a birthday party? I know I'm an alcoholic, but not an addictive personality. But isn't it? That doesn't even. I'm an alcoholic, but not an addictive personality. that's an oxymoron, right? That doesn't make
Well, I mean, if you're drinking, you're not stopping. I mean, even if it's just one beer, I mean, there in itself, maybe he's not a true alcoholic in the sense, because I can't do that,
No, I have
I drink a beer at a birthday
no.
party, and I'm probably,
I've lost you. I lost you. Your phone's on your butt. Are you there?
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
There you go. You said if you
You know,
went
if
to a
I
birthday
drink a
party.
if I drink a beer at a birthday party, I'm probably on my way back to rehab sooner or later.
I hate when I used to do this joke in my act because I hate when you get so drunk you got to call people up the next day and apologize to them. It's always the same thing. Like, hey Manny, what's up? Sorry for crashing your party yesterday. I was so wasted. Anyway, hope you had a happy third birthday. Like I got drunk at a kid's birthday party or something. But I got a lot of embarrassing moments. Just it's kind of sad. So, well, I'm gonna.
Some of the things that I've done, being in a band and stuff, some of the things that I've done on stage in front of people, I look back and think like, oh my God, like,
Dude,
wow.
I was at Gerstl's playing bass with Jim Dishman, Rob Edwards on drums, Jim Wilson. I'm bass, Jim. It's a four-piece, and we're rocking out, and I'm drinking bourbon, and I thought it'd be funny just to pull my, leave my underwear in my boxers, but pull my pants down by my ankles. And I'm sitting there playing the whole song with my pants down. And Jim Wilson comes over. He goes, "If you're not embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing the hell out of me." And I'm sitting there just playing. Oh, geez. I'm sure there's a lot more, and it's just sad. It's just, geez, Louise. See, I start thinking about stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, and the remorse. I mean, do you ever get over the remorse and the crap that you've done?
Yes, it does. It's when you clean your side of the street of it, I mean, you don't, it's still there, and from time to time, I can think about some of the things that I've done, and I still, will feel a little remorse about it, but I have moved on, I've made my amends, and I make a living amends, and the living amends is to move forward, and by the example of the life that you're living now, let your life be the amend, which is what you call living amends. There's, unfortunately, there's, some people that are no longer alive now that I couldn't make an amends to, and, that's where you make a living amends, living right and keeping your side of the street clean. And I, being over 2 years sober now, I look back at some of the things, I can think, still get that creepy feeling in my gut, where the butterflies are swimming around like, wow, man, I did that, or I said that, but it passes because I know that I don't live like that anymore, and that's not anything that I have to worry about anymore.
Let me ask you about this. There's some things that like, like I haven't talked to my brother in years, and let's take another one. I don't want to bring family into this, but people I haven't talked to, and something bad happened, and I feel like I'm in the right. Even now, I feel like I'm in the right how something went down, but I was drinking at the time, so maybe the drinking made it a tad worse. I was saying drunk things, but I was still in the right. Does that make sense?
And the way that you handled it was probably wrong.
Right. I was in the right, but the way I handled it was in the wrong because I was drunk.
I'm gonna give you a little something hard here. My brother passed away in 2006, and he passed away suddenly of a massive heart attack at the age of 36, 2 days after his birthday. About a week and a half to 2 weeks prior to that, he and I had a fight. It wasn't a physical fight, but we'd had a verbal fight. and it was over something stupid, and I was drunk when I was talking to him, and we were at my folks' house, and I was in there, and I was kind of lighting into him, and I think it may have been my birthday, so it may have been more than just a couple of weeks. It was either my birthday or right after it, and I had been drinking all day long, and had gone over there drunk, and my brother dealt with the same addiction that I did with drinking, and he, wired the same way, and once he would start, he couldn't stop, and he would keep doing it. He was a closet drinker. He kept liquor, hidden and would drink. But when I left that day, he turned and looked at my mom and he said, "Wow, he scares me because he's just like me."
Wow.
And I never got to say I'm sorry to my brother. I never got to I never got to put things right with him. And that took an alcoholic. I was already an alcoholic, not into full blown alcoholism, but I was already alcoholic with alcoholic tendencies. Have been that way my life. And that took a loaded gun and just made it worse, because then I was drinking with a purpose after he died. And that figured greatly into the alcoholism that I progressed into, where it was actual physical dependency. Keeping the bottle beside the bed at night so I could wake up when I was shaking and get the shakes off so I could go back to sleep. But yeah, that that was when I was talking to you about a living amends, that's a living amends that I have to make, is to keep my side of the street clean, because I could never put things right with my brother. I never got the chance to, and that greatly affected me. And fortunately, going through recovery and my IOP, my counselor, he happened to be held a master's in psychology, and he got me through that episode. And it was pretty liberating, but it was tough on me. It was real tough. I had to be tough for the family. I had to, and wouldn't tell anybody about it. Didn't want to talk about it or anything. But, and I know deep down that my brother knew that I was sorry. He knew that that it was all good.
Well, you were just like him. He knew you were just like him. And if he was if he was a loving person, he knew in his heart that if he did something like that, he wouldn't have meant it. So
and I look back at it now. When my mind wants to take it into a dark place, I look back at it now, and I don't look at it as something so traumatic, and I don't pick it to pieces. I know that my brother is in a better place, and that he is proud of what he has seen me do and become, and handle my life and be sober. And that's
and you say he wasn't.
Amends.
He was a closet drinker, pretty much. I mean, did he drink till the day he died?
Pretty much, yeah. He was overweight. He smoked. He drank. We've had heart disease in the family.
How old was he? How old was he when he passed away?
36.
Jeez. Yeah, that's young.
2 days after his birthday.
And that's a thing too, man. The benefits of quitting drinking, just the quality. Not only the quality of your life gets better, and once you get your mind straight too, and you just don't do it anymore. But geez, the health, just even 90 days in, I can walk the stairs here. I'm not when I'm drinking, I get that alcohol-induced cardiomyopathy, and still my body's still going through changes. It's still. Yesterday I got dark, man. Yesterday I got obsessive thoughts. I was mind screwing everything. I was like. And just no, that's I gotta tell myself that's Mr. Worry. That's not you. That's that's your brain getting pissed off at you because you're not drinking. You're down here at the beach. There's a place right next door called the Tiki Hut, and they got some of the top, bands come over there and play, unplugged. And now I used to play here as a kid. I played down there, and I need to walk down there, have a bourbon and coke, and listen to some bands. There's a guy named Edwin McCain. Used to play with him down here at the Tiki Hut. And I'm just kidding, but I don't need that. Yesterday was bad, but today I'm not having any cravings. Sometimes I get pissed and I have a pity party because I Like I'm a grown ass man. If I want to buy a beer, I'm going to buy a beer. That's how I feel sometimes, but not today.
But
But still learning.
but you know where that's going to take you. You know,
Yeah.
you know where that's going to go and where it's going to end up at. You know, like in AA they use it as Rule 62, which is called "Don't take yourself too damn seriously."
Wow.
You know, because an alcoholic or an addict will take a paperclip and make it complicated. And I was told
That's me. Oh, hold on now. We got to look the way that was. Oh, jeez, Louise, that hit home.
I was told that was probably one of the things that I was told going through rehab the most was stop thinking so much. And I've been told that by 2 different sponsors. Stop thinking so much about it. You're making this way more complicated than what it has to be. You know, and I can take a paperclip, I can take a rock and make it complicated. You give me long enough. You know, I'll torture myself over the simplest
And
thing.
I just want to, I hate, I'm pissed off too that I know the quality of my life is going to be so great and so phenomenal. And I hate that I'm just now doing it. I hate that I'm at this age and I'm just now.
And I can relate with that. I can relate with that so much. You know, I can relate with that. You know, like why couldn't I have gotten this sooner? Because I wasn't meant to get it sooner.
Okay.
I wasn't meant to get it until I got it, because I had to have the experience in life that I had so I could help other people. You know, I see a lot of younger guys coming through the group, and I think, man, I wish I could have got what I have now. I wish I could have had when I was 25. But you couldn't have forced it on me at 25. I would have told you to go to hell.
No, I laughed at this doctor friend of mine. That's crazy talk. No, I'm not quitting drinking. Oh, jeez.
You remember when we used to hang out over
the comedy club?
At the comedy club and over at my girlfriend / roommate's house over by Comedy Caravan.
Abigail. Was her name Abigail? Or Agatha? Or no, Karen. Karen, I'll shut up.
Nope. When I was
Bob. I remember Bob. He's a good guy. Go
ahead. When I told one of the bar managers when I told one of the bar managers that we were playing at the time, I told her, I said, we're moving in together. And she said, oh, my God, one of you will be dead within 6 months. We were drinking a half gallon of vodka every 2 days. And we were both full.
Okay, now I'm recalling. I'm sorry. I'm a brain fart there. So, yeah, I remember you telling a story before and different people in my head. But so it was a person wired just like you, and you told a bartender that you guys were moving in together, and the bartender said, oh, my gosh, one of you guys are going to be in jail or dead within a month or something like that, or a few months.
She said one of you will be dead within 6 months. She said this is going to go so bad. She said you all are like matches to gasoline. She said one of you two is going to be dead in 6 months. And that was a house that chaos built. I mean, that was oh my God.
I've seen people who were the double-headed monster. I've looked at it and God, you guys are the double-headed monster.
I mean, it was that house was just, that was some of the things that went on there. That's another thing I can look back and be like, wow, I actually, I did that and survived it. But we were saying though, if somebody had told me then, because I had a feeling then that I was starting to get out of control.
Yeah.
But I mean, you couldn't have forced it on me. I'd have laughed you out of the room. I'd have been like, get the hell out
and that's what I did when in my 20s. That's what I did in my 20s. Well, brother, it's always good talking with you. I'm going to but this is a thing too with this would be a good night for after the past. I literally started the show 3 or 4 times. Just technical difficulty. I didn't have one thing pushed right. I'm not a technical guy at this age. I just want to talk and share stories. I don't want to take care of all this other crap. But man, I'm going to talk with you soon, and I appreciate you picking up when I call.
Oh, that was awesome, dude. Because I had, to be honest with you, I had nodded off on the couch for a little while, and I opened my eyes, and it was like 8:45. And by the time I really got coherent and sat up, it was like, okay, well, Sober Talk's over, and I grabbed my phone, and it said it was like 20 minutes prior to that. It said you were live, and I was like, wait a minute. So
Yeah,
I clicked on.
I had a one-sided conversation with Kevin, this guy, talking about it. It was a great. I'm going to call him tomorrow. But by the way, guys, I got a show tomorrow night here on the island, and I'm doing a guest set.
Congratulations.
Well, no, it's a guest set. A buddy of mine owns a club down here, and every time I come, it's hard to get stage time, so he's open here. So, but it's right at 8 o'clock. So I will not be doing Sober Talk tomorrow night. I'll be doing Sober Talk in the morning. I'm gonna do it at 8 a.m. I got a special guest, a nurse who works in, she's an ER nurse, who's going to tell us some horrific stories about the drunk people who come in there. People being killed.
Well, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, I'll be listening to it tomorrow. I won't be able to comment or anything. I've got a really busy job tomorrow. We've got a state inspector coming in to inspect our work tomorrow. And so I'll have it on in my pocket. I've got some things to zip up before.
Oh, no worries. You can always go back and listen to it, on the podcast, your favorite podcast app. It's on the Sober Talk Live. And we finally got the website up and running. We got sobertalklive.com, and you can go there and click on YouTube, click on Facebook, you can go anywhere from that one hub right there. So, yeah, Carl says I need to get some rest. I don't know, man, it's 9:30 almost. I will be in bed by 9:45. So, everybody, I thank you so much, and I will talk with you soon. And if anybody's up in the morning, Carl, if you're up at 8, shoot me an email, sobertalklive@gmail.com. That's sobertalklive@gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, I'd like to have Kevin back on. Kevin, if you're around in the morning, I'd love to have you on. But yeah, man, that would be sweet. Shoot me an email. I could use a couple more guests for tomorrow morning. I just found out about this guest set tomorrow night, so I'm just trying to do a last minute get together with the show. So, all right, brother. Thanks, Gary. I'll talk to you when I get back in town.
All right, Tom. We'll get together.
All right, see ya.
All right, see you. Bye.
So there you go, folks. It's a good hang. The numbers literally dropped in half on the second start of the show, and then the third start of the show, it dropped even more. But our founding members are here. Bob Van Orden's here. Mickey Griggs here. Bev's always here. Carl, he's always here. Tina Labate, don't overthink everything. Tina, when am I want to have you on? I think you sent me your number. Yeah, and that was a good share that Gary sent, and a lot of comments about his brother. That's a tough thing. All right, guys, I love you very much. You've been really, really sweet to deal with me. This show. Sometimes I think people think the show is so cool. We're getting so many great emails from all over the world. People love this show, and I really think it's definitely a great thing for me, and it's a great thing for our little community here. But it's sometimes it is kind of unplugged and kind of one-man shop. But I think the show is not what it is; it's what it's not trying to be. We're not trying to shove any kind of techniques or programs down your throat. You'll find out what works for you, and that's what. Just like some people love pot, some people love beer. Pot never did it for me. AAA didn't do it for me. Now it is. So but get help. You can't do it. You just can't quit. You got to figure out what's going on and whatever. And again, sobertalklive.com. And if you want to become a supporter of the show, there's a link in the description. And I love you guys. Thanks. All right. Chris Warren. Oh, that's a sweet offer, Chris. I'll talk to you about that. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye. Dun.